Hello everyone. Today is 26th of July 2018 and we are going to discuss important editorials from Indian Express. So before I start, I want to request you, if you are new here, then please go and subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get the notification. So let's start with the first article. So today the first article deals with the women migrants. We know earlier it was the case that men usually traveled out of their villages to cities in search of work and women and children wait at home. But now a new paper has been released and it revealed that the number of women migrants in the country that has been increasing, that has been rising over the last 3 decades. That means over the last 30 years. And that is a phenomena both in the urban as well as the rural areas. And if we see the data of 64th round of the National Sample Survey, which was carried out in 2008, it revealed that in urban India, 45.6% of women, they were migrants, and this number of migrants, women migrants, has increased, and earlier it used to be 38.2% in 1993. Now it has increased to 45.6% in case of urban India. And the reasons which this paper gave was generally the economic reasons. That means women moved in search of work, in search of getting income for their family, because it was seen that they were pushed into seeking work because of the deep agrarian distress plus the inability of men to find employment. So how do we know about this inability of men to find employment? Again, we rely on the NSS data 2008, which revealed that the percentage of male migrants in the age group of 15 to 59 years, that has decreased. So it has come down from 32% to 31%. So that means 1% डिक्रीज हुआ है. और क्योंकि जो men हैं उनको एम्प्लॉयमेंट अच्छी तरह से नहीं मिल रहा है, एग्रीकल्चर जो है वो डिस्ट्रेस्ड है, तो इस वजह से इट हैज लेड टू मास मूवमेंट ऑफ women. दैट मीन्स इन आवर कंट्री women माइग्रेशन दैट हैज बीन इंक्रीजिंग. और हम बहुत ज्यादा बात करते थे लैक ऑफ women इन द इंडियन वर्कफोर्स की, बट नाउ वी आर सीइंग अ ट्रेंड where women are actively coming in the labor market. And because women are coming in the labor market, so more than ever what we need is we need to secure the public places for women, because we know that there is still some safety issues associated with women. Plus we have to create an enabling infrastructure for them so that this transition, which is a difficult transition for them. Why difficult? Because generally the women, they come alone, so they are not coming with their families, they are not coming with their husbands, they are coming alone. So there is a need that we should create secure public spaces for them for their safety, plus an enabling infrastructure like transport, well lit bus bays. So these are required because we are seeing that these women migrants, they are part of the unorganized sector, and mostly if we see construction sites के ऊपर, right, the labor is generally provided by women. So the women, they generally work as laborers on the construction sites or as household maids, and these are for low wages, plus the terms of condition of the work, they are also against them. So what government need to do? Government first of all need to secure the public places for women. It needs to create an enabling infrastructure, and it needs to come up with solutions that will address both the street and the workplace. That means it is not only that the woman is secure at the place where she is working, she should be secure even on the streets. They should be safe from the stranger violence or harassment from the employers. So we are addressing here two things, that is violence or harassment on the street and violence or harassment at the workplace. So both of them have to be dealt with. So the author concludes by saying that we have been talking a lot about lack of women in the Indian workforce, but this paper has revealed that women are actually going out and they are participating in the workforce. So therefore the government and industry, they must come together and they must now be able to work to push them on the path of upward mobility. That means if we want them to achieve higher in their life, then we have to work together. That means we means government and the industry, and of course people as a whole, because if you are a mute spectator when someone is harassing a woman, then definitely you are also the part of the crime. So you should not be a mute spectator, and you should also play your part. So this was the article regarding women migrants. The next article, it talks about starvation deaths in India in 2018. Now the author says that when we first hear of this sentence that someone has died due to starvation in today's world, then we think that it's not possible, it's unthinkable that person can die of starvation in India. And especially when we know that we have plenty of food available, and in fact our country is a country where surplus grain, it is eaten away by rats. So we have our granaries almost full and the excess of grain is eaten away by rats. Then how can someone in a country like who has surplus of food can die with starvation? But the author says that truth is something else. What is the truth? That India is home to the largest number of malnourished people in the world. So you can remember this line, you can use this as a data, that India is home to the largest number of malnourished people in the world. And about a third of our children, they are stunted. So stunted means उनकी body का भी growth नहीं होता है और ना ही उनके brain का growth हो पाता है. So stunted, as the word implies, their bodies and their brains, they are less developed than they should be for their age. So this is the stark reality. This is the truth. And the author says that when we say and when we think that it is not possible that a person can die of starvation in today's India, then it is only to the well-heeled that it seems that we have conquered hunger, but actually we have not. And there is a reason for this observation. Why we are saying that we have not been able to conquer hunger after so many years of independence? Because there are many who go to bed day after day, month after month without enough food. So they don't get enough food. And recently also there was a case about a 58-year-old woman who died in Jharkhand due to starvation. But the problem is no one recognizes the fact that the person is dying of starvation. So what actually happens? So they say the cause of the deaths, that is something else, and that is the more immediate ailment generally. यानी कि recently आपको कौन सी बीमारी हुई है उसकी वजह से आपकी डेथ हो रही है. जैसे कि कई बार डायरिया हो जाता है, न्यूमोनिया हो जाता है, तो उनकी वजह से जो है बोला जाता है कि डेथ्स होती हैं, एंड इट इज नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ हंगर, इट इज सेड. बट द प्रॉब्लम इज वी डोंट रियलाइज दैट द चाइल्ड और दैट पर्सन डाइज बिकॉज दे आर टू वीक फ्रॉम हंगर, एंड ड्यू टू दैट देयर बॉडी हैव बीन डिप्लीटेड ऑफ द नेसेसरी vitamins, necessary minerals that would have staved off these diseases. यानी कि हम एक्चुअली में ये बोलते हैं कि जो मोर इमीडिएट एलिमेंट है उसकी वजह से इंसान की मौत हुई है. और जितनी भी अभी तक डेथ्स हुई हैं उनके पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट में भी यही आता है जनरली कि किसी और रीजन की वजह से हुई है, स्टारवेशन या हंगर की वजह से नहीं हुई है. बट हम ये फैक्ट जो है वो भूल जाते हैं कि हमारी बॉडी हंगर के कारण, स्टारवेशन के कारण इतनी ज्यादा वीक हो जाती है कि हमारे अंदर जो जरूरी न्यूट्रिएंट्स चाहिए होते हैं वो नहीं प्रेजेंट होते हैं, और हमारी जो बॉडी की इम्यूनिटी है वो लोअर डाउन हो जाती है, और उसकी वजह से हम डिजीजेस जो हैं उनके साथ कोप अप नहीं कर पाते, डिजीजेस को दूर नहीं रख पाते, और that is the reason कि diseases होती हैं and ultimately the people die. So the root cause is always hunger and starvation. And if we see the data, then more children under the age of 5 they have died in India than anywhere else in the world. And if we see a recent estimate, they put this figure at over 1.5 million children a year. That becomes over 4500 child deaths a day. यानी कि एक दिन में around 4500 children जो हैं वो मर जाते हैं due to hunger, and a third of these they could have been averted. यानी कि इसका 4500 divided by 3 अगर हम करें, that means 1500 जो children हैं एक दिन में हम बचा सकते हैं if they did not go to bed hungry night after night. और अगर डेटा देखा जाए तो इंडिया में 3 लाख चिल्ड्रन जो हैं वो हर साल मरते हैं because of hunger. And what basically the author says is that this hunger and poverty, this is again a vicious cycle, right? how it is a vicious cycle. Because suppose if some child has escaped death, but again their parents, if they are poor, so even if they escaped death, even if they didn't die, but the fact remains that they will always be hungry for a part of their lives. And hunger does not stunt only the body, it will also affect the brain. So what will be the result? An entire generation of children who are born into poverty with stunted intellectual development, and again it traps them in the same poverty their parents lived with. तो इसका बेसिकली मतलब क्या है? अब देखो, पहले पेरेंट्स जो थे वो गरीब थे, उनके बच्चे पैदा हुए एंड ड्यू टू हंगर, ऑल्दो वो मरे नहीं, लेकिन उनको हंगर के साथ ही जीना पड़ा, अपनी लाइफ काटनी पड़ी। और हंगर का इफेक्ट सिर्फ उनकी बॉडी ग्रोथ पे नहीं पड़ा, ब्रेन ग्रोथ पे भी पड़ा, यानी कि उनका ब्रेन जो है, उनकी इंटेलेक्चुअल डेवलपमेंट नहीं हुई। सो स्टंटेड इंटेलेक्चुअल डेवलपमेंट है उनकी। अब अगर इंटेलेक्चुअल डेवलपमेंट ही नहीं हुई तो वो उसी तरीके से सोचेंगे ना जैसे उनके पेरेंट्स सोचते आए हैं, और वो उसी कंडीशंस में रहेंगे जिन कंडीशंस में उनके पेरेंट्स रहते आए हैं। तो अल्टीमेटली दिस इज अ साइकिल, यानी कि आप आगे 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 ये सब कंटिन्यू होता जाएगा, और ना ही आप पावर्टी से निकल पाओगे, क्योंकि पावर्टी से निकलने के लिए भी आपको अपना ब्रेन यूज करना पड़ेगा कि कैसे किन तरीकों से ज्यादा पैसे कमा सकता हूँ। लेकिन अगर आपकी इंटेलेक्चुअल डेवलपमेंट ही नहीं हुई है तो हाउ विल यू कम आउट ऑफ पावर्टी? So this is the problem. It is a vicious cycle. And the author says that it does not matter how fast our economy is growing when tens of millions of our children, they go to bed hungry. And the author says that our poor position in the Human Development League table of the world, that is also due to hunger, plus its consequences on the premature mortality. यानी कि उम्र से पहले ही जो है वो मर जाते हैं बच्चे। प्लस इसका अभी हमने एक डिस्कस किया दैट इट इज अफेक्टिंग चिल्ड्रन हु कैन एस्केप पॉवर्टी बट दे हैव अ स्टंटेड इंटेलेक्चुअल डेवलपमेंट, सो दे कुड नॉट एस्केप poverty. So that creates a vicious cycle. So it does not matter that even after 70 years of independence our food granaries are stuffed and rats are eating the same, but it is a shame for us that we have not been able to eradicate hunger and we have not been able to address stunting. So what we need is an emergency action. We should take action on urgency, and we should not deny the fact that the deaths that are occurring there due to hunger. Only then will the Indians stop dying of hunger. So this was the article regarding hunger. The last article, it talks about institutions, right? So recently, earlier this month, the government of India has informed that 6 higher educational institutions, they have been named as institutions of eminence by the center. So why have the government done so, and do we actually need that, and what we actually need, we will look in this article. So the author says the government has named 6 higher institutions, and out of which 5 they are known for science and technology and one still does not exist. So according to this institutions of eminence, basically what changes will happen? It will permit to admit 30% foreign students with no restrictions on the fees charged on them. That means you can charge a hefty amount of fees from the foreign students. So there is no limit on the fees charged by them. Plus this will also set them free from the regulations of AICT and UGC. That means they will no longer remain under the control of these regulatory bodies, and they will be autonomous in making regulations. So basically, why have the government done that? We know that there have been rankings of top 500 higher education institutions and then top 100 institutions, but our institutions, they have not been selected in this top 500 or top 100 except for some IITs and IISc. So that is the reason that government has given the status of institution of eminence, because they want these institutions to come into these top 500 educational institutions and top 100 educational institutions. But the author says that this was not required. Like charging hefty amount of fees would improve the quality of the universities, that we can't say. कि आप ज्यादा पैसे ले रहे हो उसका मतलब क्वालिटी भी अच्छी होगी, ये कोई फैक्ट नहीं है। और फॉरेन स्टूडेंट्स आने से क्वालिटी कुछ ज्यादा अच्छी हो जाएगी, ये भी हम कुछ कह नहीं सकते। प्लस द ऑथर सेज दैट दीज यूनिवर्सिटीज which have been given this institution of eminent status, they already enjoyed academic freedom. That means they were already autonomous in what they teach, how they teach, and what research they undertake. And faculty members who want to do the research in these institutions, they are also able to obtain reasonable amount of research fundings without much competition. But still, none of them is able to attract many foreign students at present, and it is unlikely that this number, that is the number of foreign students, it will increase if the fees is raised. So there is no logic behind it. So the author says this obsession with the rankings, it began about a decade ago, that is around 10 years ago, after the Times Higher Education World University Rankings and the QS World University Rankings, which started around 2005. And we see that from India, only the Indian Institution of Science, I think it was IISc Bangalore, which was included in the top 500 every year. And the rest of them, they are American and European universities. And the problem is not that we have only one university in the top 500, but there was something else. The problem was something else. What was the problem was that many of these were Chinese universities, plus worst of all is that two were from South Africa. So that actually hurted the ego, you can say, that why our universities are not in the top 500, whereas many Chinese universities and even from South Africa universities are coming in the top 500. So this was something which was intolerable. That's why government wanted to do something by which it can crack this top 500 rankings and come with a good number. And the author says that there has been little discussion on the reasons why these universities, they have come up with such rankings, and why they include these advertisements on their websites. So what are these advertisements? These advertisements are generally of the universities of US and UK. So that means they are just promoting them. And more fee paying international undergraduate students, they had started going to these countries. So that's why these universities came up with these rankings, but no one made an effort to know why this happened and what these rankings actually take into factor. That means what factors it account for. So it includes surveys on reputation. It conducts surveys on reputation, plus the views of employers, research output, and proportion of the foreign students. So I think now you understand the funda why the government has permitted that foreign students be allowed for admission in these IITs. Basically because these rankings also include one factor they take into account is proportion of foreign students. But the author concludes by saying that I have not seen any serious student who is interested in a postgraduate research just because the ranking of that university is good. So it is not based on the overall ranking. Because the students who want to do research, who are serious about doing research, they are quite clear that which universities they would like to attend, and that is based on the reputation of the specific department of interest. That means the specific topic they are choosing. So they see that which specific department its reputation is good. They don't see the overall ranking of the institutions. Plus they see the professors' publications, that which professors' publication that is in their area of interest. So it does not matter that what is the overall ranking. And the author says that we know that IITs, IIS and IIMs, they are highly elite government institutions, and these rankings, they will make little difference to the kind of students they get, because the entrance exams, they are very tough. These are the soul killing entrance exam, and therefore the students who are getting admission, that will not change until we have a large number of institutions. That means you are also permitting some foreign students, and there are already large number of students who want to get admissions in these institutions, but because of their tough entrance exams, they find it difficult to crack it. So this number of students who are getting into IITs and IIMs or IISCs, they are not gonna change, because the entrance exam will remain same. So this number of students will not change, plus the number of faculty, the positions of faculty, that will also not change. And out of a large number of applicants who apply for the faculty position in these IITs, only a few they are of good quality and they make it, while a significant number of positions they are still vacant. This is not likely to change with this institution of eminence tag. That means even if you give the institution this tag of institution of eminence, जो प्रोफेसर्स वहाँ पे आने वाले हैं उनकी क्वालिटी, उनका नंबर चेंज नहीं होगा, बिकॉज ऑलरेडी बहुत सारे प्रोफेसर्स जो हैं वो अप्लाई करते हैं इन इंस्टीट्यूशंस में एंड देर आर वेरी फ्यू हु आर ऑफ एक्चुअली गुड क्वालिटी एंड देयरफॉर दे मेक इट. बट लेकिन a significant number of positions in these institutions they're still vacant. And if we see the private institutions, they are not making anything positive or anything, there is not much of a difference in research. Only those students who are from middle class or lower middle class families, they opt for research careers. But this high cost of education from the private schools and universities, this debars them to go for research. And the author concludes by saying that Indian institutions, they will not become centers of world class eminence or research by aimlessly striving for rankings or by spending crores of rupees on them. यानी कि अगर हमारा फोकस सिर्फ रैंकिंग्स पे रहा, अगर हमारा फोकस सिर्फ इतने पे रहा कि हम कितना पैसा दे रहे हैं इंस्टीट्यूशंस को, उससे हमारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस की हालत कुछ अच्छा होने वाली नहीं है, वो वर्ल्ड क्लास इंस्टीट्यूशंस के बराबर में नहीं आ पाएगी. एंड द प्रॉब्लम एक्चुअली लाइज समवेयर एल्स. एंड द ऑथर सेज दैट देयर इज ऑलमोस्ट नो country in the world that does well in academic research where education cost money primary schools onward. Basically author यहाँ पे क्या बोलना चाह रहे हैं कि mostly countries में क्या होता है कि जो education है that is provided free of cost, including the books in the most well performing countries. और हमारी कंट्री में क्या है, we costed primary school onwards the education is not free and that is the problem. In most of the well performing countries this education is provided for free including books and even after the primary school, but in India after primary school the education is not free and therefore a significant number of students they are saddled with loans by the time they complete a bachelor's degree इन इंजीनियरिंग. यानी कि जब तक वो अपनी इंजीनियरिंग कंप्लीट करते हैं उनके ऊपर ऑलरेडी बहुत सारे जो लोन्स हैं वो इकट्ठा हो जाते हैं और उस कंडीशन में रिसर्च करियर इज नॉट अ डिजायर्ड ऑप्शन, क्योंकि रिसर्च करते टाइम ना ही आपको इतना पैसा मिलता है कि आप अपने लोन्स चुका पाओ या इंटरेस्ट चुका पाओ. उस टाइम स्टूडेंट्स को सिर्फ ये होता है दैट वी शुड गो फॉर अ जॉब सो दैट वी कैन पे आउट द इंटरेस्ट एंड द लोन्स. सो व्हाट वी नीड टू डू, व्हाट द गवर्नमेंट नीड्स टू डू इज टू मेक एजुकेशन ऑलमोस्ट free at all the levels. That means maybe you're not making it completely free, but make it almost free that even the lower class, the middle class can afford it, and that will increase the job opportunities in research also. But what the present policies are doing, that will make a little difference and there will be a little chance that we will excel in science and technology. So this was the article regarding institutions of eminence. See, most of these articles, they have a criticism angle in them and mostly the points given are negative, but we should understand that we should balance our answer. यानी कि हमें positives और negatives दोनों लेके चलने हैं और एक अच्छा conclusion. That means you have to give the positives, you have to give the negatives, and finally a balanced conclusion in which you are giving suggestions or if in which you are giving a ray of positive hope, like these are the government schemes which are working in this direction, right? Or if you want to give some suggestion, then you can also give some suggestion that this is the point where the government should work at. Like the suggestion here in this article was that make education almost free at all levels, right? So such suggestions you can give in the conclusion, but you have to understand that you have to balance your answer. You just don't have to focus on the negatives, you also have to focus on the positives. And if the article is not providing, you must research on it, like what are the government schemes which are carrying out, what were the positive steps which were carried out in this direction. So you have to understand all this. So that was it for today, guys. I hope you liked the lecture, and if you do, then please do subscribe to our channel and do support us. Have a good day.